Welcome, Congressman. Congratulations to you for a victory.
Thanks, David.
So you guys, the Republicans in the House are still short of a majority. But assuming you get there, how will you use that majority?
A great question. I think we're going to pick up, we'll be at 225 to 230 based upon the information I have. We will get the majority back in Congress. Kevin McCarthy will be the Speaker, and I'll be the Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee. And we're going to have a good agenda. We're going to address the economic crisis, the energy crisis, the border crime crisis, and from my purview, the national security crisis that we're seeing playing out across the world. And so we will also have oversight and investigations and accountability, which has been far lacking under the Democrat-controlled Congress.
Let me just ask specifically about something that Congress really doesn't have that much control of, which is the regulations that we've seen specifically on our energy production in the United States, oil, gas, and coal. Can you stop Biden's overregulation of these sectors that's causing a crisis in energy in the United States?
Yeah, we can, and there's a Supreme Court case, I think, that is in our favor on this. Look, I mean, he has shut down manufacturing of energy in this country. We were energy independent. Now we're dependent on foreign sources of energy, like the Middle East, going back to Jimmy Carter, right? I mean, the sanctions I put on Nord Stream 2 to block Putin's pipeline into Europe was waived by this president. This energy policy of his makes no sense at all, and now Europe is waking up to the fact that it was a disaster. This has to change. And you know what? Now Europe is craving for us to export LNG into terminals into Europe, and you're going to see it. And the Foreign Affairs Committee is going to be leading the charge on that. We have to, protect our allies with energy, not rely on foreign nation adversaries.
But even if you have committee hearings on the subject, and it's a very important subject, is there anything, if he goes ahead anyway and continues to deny leases and permits, et cetera, I mean, you really can't stop him. He does have that authority in the executive, doesn't he?
Well, he does. But on the other hand, I was the guy that lifted the ban on export controls of LNG on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And those are things we can do legally. I think, elections do have consequences. And I think the American people, realize this energy policy is a failure with rising gas prices. It puts us, David, honestly, in a very dangerous situation as well, when we have to be reliant on foreign sources and beg, hat in hand, countries in the Middle East that the president calls pariahs, by the way. His foreign policy is reckless, dangerous, and energy is going to be a big part of my agenda. And yes, I do think we can do some things. And we also have the power of the purse. Don't ever forget that. The biggest power the House of Representatives has under the Constitution is the power of the purse. To change policy in the executive branch.
But even there, you have the president, through executive order, essentially just dismissing about $500 billion worth of student debt. It might go up to $1 trillion. So once again, one would think that would be a part of the nation's purse. It's certainly our tax dollars that are going to be used for that. How can you stop that?
Well, I think it's unconstitutional. I mean, for him to spend that amount of money through an executive order, not go through the Congress, which has Article 1 authorities under the Constitution, the power of the purse. I would hope the courts, and it would probably go to the Supreme Court, would say that act, that executive order is unconstitutional. And you will see that those types of executive orders being challenged in court, but you're also going to see a Congress that's going to be passing new laws. And what we want to do, and I feel very good about our prospects in the Senate, that we're going to start passing bills and putting them on the president's desk. And he's going to have a choice. He can either veto all of those, or he can do what Bill Clinton did in a page out of his playbook, maybe start working with the Republican Congress. If I were advising him for a day, that's what I would advise him to do.
But, Congressman, it's different now. I mean, it was thought yesterday when we thought that there was going to be a blowout, and there clearly hasn't been, that it would be tough for him to veto every bill that came in his desk. Now, he's more free to do that. I have a sense today that there's going to be a lot more vetoing going on than I thought there might have been yesterday.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's going to veto a lot of things, but that would be at his political peril and the political peril of the Democratic Party. When the American people see dysfunction and they don't see us working together to get good things done for the country, for the American people, the party that is the obstructionist that stops that pays the political price in the polls. And I'm talking about 2024.
Congressman, we're going to go to Ed Lawrence, who just was with the president as he was wrapping up his view of what happened yesterday. But I want to ask one thing the president said, and we don't have to play the soundbite, but he said essentially that he wants tax cuts for working people. Now, he didn't describe exactly what it was. He said, you know, rich people and corporations don't need it. But could you work with the president on some form of a tax cut?
You know, I hope so. We would like to make, you know, the Trump tax cuts permanent, right? But I don't think this president's going to go for that. No. So when you're looking at like issues related to China or border security or tax policies, I'm an eternal optimist. I do think we can pass small bills, small measures when it relates to taxes, border, China policy, that make it very difficult for the president to veto those.
Well, good luck. It's going to be an interesting 2 years. Mike McCaul, again, congratulations on your win.